Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Data Dispatch. I hope you guys are having a great day. Well, remember what we mentioned in yesterday's video about a potential pullback after we had that hotter than expected inflation data report and the long bank holiday, waiting for that to settle in? That's what we got today. A pullback. You saw NVIDIA, especially looking at them, open up with a large sale. Palantir gets affected. We're going to be talking about tomorrow what could be happening, and that is because NVIDIA is set to report their earnings, and right now they are really setting the momentum and having a large effect on a lot of the other AI stocks out there, and a lot of people are going to utilize NVIDIA's earnings as a gauge for what investors are looking at in terms of AI stocks. Now, if you are a new or a returning viewer, hit that like button, subscribe for daily videos, and of course, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm collecting all the data and dispatching it to you. Now, Palantir does, of course, like I always say, better than I expected. And the reason I say that is because up in this zone here, in the 20s, what Palantir has recently exploded to after those Q4 earnings reports, we see Palantir loses here the micro support at 23.78. We mentioned that, hey, that's probably not going to be any type of support that we should acknowledge. We see that as it opens up below that. But Palantir gets a little bit of a reversal here at 22.93. Now, great to see in terms of finding some reversals within the high 20s, because there's not a ton of trading history within this price zone in the mid 20s for Palantir that we haven't seen in a long time. And as we look at Palantir and looking into potentially if this pullback continues, NVIDIA is going to have a big impact on some of these other big AI stocks. What we could possibly look at is the last strong resistance point for Palantir was right here at the 20s. Remember how many times that Palantir is tested at the 20s before it's actually been able to break out above that. That could possibly be a support zone that does get tested in the future if we continue to see the actual pullback and correction with Palantir Technologies and profit-taking cascade among all the other AI stocks out there. We're going to be talking about, however, some bullish things that are still great for Palantir. Don't worry, we're not flipping a bearish scenario here. We're just talking about actual reality, taking some of the fantasy out of it, and what can actually be happening when we do typically will see some pullbacks in the markets. Now, this could all be just brushed off tomorrow. We saw that with the last time we got the hotter inflation report in January. Big pullback, and then in the matter of the day, that was brushed off like nothing happened. That could happen definitely again. And like I said, NVIDIA's earnings are going to have a big impact. If we look here, though, at the options, we actually have a mixed implied volatility and mixed volume at bulls and at the bearish perspective. You see here 24 on the strike price. We got 20,000 in terms of calls. Puts right here are matching that kind of at the 12 to 13,000 across the board, looking at the $23 and $22 strike price. Continue on over here. What's happening in the media is that you have NVIDIA's earnings report could kill the momentum you see here for MarketWatch, regardless of how it turns off. And could this be some of the buy the rumor, sell the news? And if NVIDIA changes anything in terms of guidance, even though we are expecting a very bullish earnings report from NVIDIA, then we could continue to see a pullback across the market. And you see right here, NVIDIA's earnings, Kramer says that the AI giant isn't anywhere near its peak. If anybody's ever heard of the inverse Kramer theory, this could possibly be a big loss to a lot of us if you look into it. But anyway, like I said, we don't know what's going to be happening in the video. We're expecting bullish earnings reports. If we see the reversal, bad things could happen if they miss that or any type of guidance is reported. On top of that, what you do have in the bullish things and the things that are helping for Palantir is that investors are still searching Palantir Technologies at one of the highest volumes that we've seen across these stocks. And even from Zacks.com here, saying that the list of the most searched stocks, Palantir is on that list. And you got to think, shares of PLTR have been up over 38.9% over the past month versus the S&P 500 of 3.6% right here, the composite change. And with the industry standard that this belongs to in the technological industry of 14.2%. So Palantir is still killing it regardless of what we're seeing across the actual media. And we're going to be talking about a actual bullish case for Palantir, specifically looking at their pricing power. Now let's take a second to thank the sponsor of this video, Seeking Alpha. And as you guys have probably seen, I actually utilize Seeking Alpha on a daily basis to conduct all my research and to create content for you guys in the most non-biased approach that I can possible. And what I love about Seeking Alpha, and as we've particularly been looking at Palantir within the last few months, is that their data analytics gives me nearly any piece of information that I want to know about our particular stock. And this goes across the board for thousands of different stocks. You get exclusive access to things like earnings transcripts. You also get the bullish and the bearish perspective with many different analysts here, so that way you guys can actually formulate your own opinions and take your own positions on a particular stock. I really like Seeking Alpha because any information that I need, I can get it on there. So if you want access to this kind of data, make sure you check out my affiliate link down below. You get 20% off using that link, and that comes with a free 7-day trial. Check out the link, and I don't think you guys will be disappointed. Back to the video. Now, talking about their pricing power, and as Palantir starts to mature as a company and looking into its growth and commercial customer count and commercial revenue, we've seen a lot of bullishness. We've all talked about this in the last quarter earnings report. What's great about this is that pricing power now is starting to become stronger among Palantir, and specifically with their balance sheet, this is a really good combination effect. And with the pricing power, this means that Palantir, as more demand comes to the particular products that Palantir does sell, these different AI products like AIP, as there's more demand, Palantir can alter the price, and people are still going to be at the table to purchase it as they continue to diversify and get more involved with various industries. Specifically, look at NVIDIA. They have a very strong pricing power in the fact that they can basically charge whatever they want for the GPUs, and people are still going to buy it. And especially with the AI demand, if this continues to soar, pricing power becomes more of a key catalyst for these companies. But talking about the balance sheet, Palantir has nearly zero debt. And that's where we talk a lot over to the valuation here. One of the biggest criticisms that we've seen in Palantir, specifically if people are so criticizing of Palantir and talking about the valuation, hey, this stock could pull back a little bit here. If we see continued profit taking, that will be more bullish for the value-oriented investors that are out there. But looking at here and Seeking Alpha, this guy this article here ran a discounted cash flow model, looking here, assuming a constant growth rate of 9% over the next 4 years, and gives a fair share value price of $29.74. So looking at this and looking into what the actual valuation is behind PLTR, we would expect this among one of the top growth stocks that are out there. People are willing to pay a big premium for AI stocks right now, and Palantir is included within that list. So as we talk about that, possibly at that $29 fair value, looking at that discounted free cash flow model, you have a 22% undervaluation, and that actually looks like a strong buy right now for PLTR. This is really important because a lot of people could disagree with the statement, but if it's all depending on your time horizon. If you're looking to get PLTR in the short term, we could see a lot of volatility. Like I said, with NVIDIA earnings that are going to be happening here pretty soon, things could be subject to change. But if you have a different price point of what Palantir will be in the next 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, and you put that value, then that can give you an idea of what the true valuation for PLTR is for you. What's your position, and how long are you looking to get into that position? That is a big factor on what you think the impeding value is of PLTR. On top of that, one thing that I do like, and going back to the bullish balance sheet, one thing that I do love about that is if times do get tough for PLTR, if we do see a non-soft landing in the U.S. economy this year, depending on what's going to be happening with interest rates, Palantir has a lot of money to survive through a bear market. And that, I think, is really important and can really just help this valuation grades that we see of F across the board. With that growth and profitability and margins that we're seeing, getting great grades, Seeking Alpha ratings that are doing good, you still have some of the top people on the market here, top people that are managing large funds like Cathie Wood, loading up on PLTR, as she is really a big investor in those stocks that do have a correlation to disruptive technologies. Cathie Wood is getting involved and loading up on PLTR. We've seen her position, and we've seen that it's the actual growth and the actual pie percentage within the ARK ETF portfolio is continuing to grow. So nonetheless, as we sit here, summarize what could be happening. I think no matter what, possibly, if NVIDIA reports the earnings, I think we're going to see a little bit of a buy the rumor, sell the news type of cascade. Reason being is we're already seeing NVIDIA come down a little bit in the actual after hours here. And if you look at NVIDIA within the last 3 months, nearly up over 50%. I don't know what the exact percent is right now. It's quite crazy what the valuation is behind NVIDIA. Palantir included, what we've seen is this explosion that's continued to soar across the board. We could possibly see a little bit of a pullback, and that would not, in my opinion, be necessarily a bad thing for PLTR, considering the large increase in price. I think a little bit of stabilization, consolidation, and building more support zones is important, especially if it can hold in those 20s. That could be a great zone for PLTR to build some support to get to that next incremental level of the $30 range. And this is all only going to come with time. Of course, anything can happen in the market. We could see NVIDIA that continues to blow past its top, and that just means things are going to become even more volatile when we do eventually see more of a major pullback. So that's about it for you guys. Let me know, what do you guys think down in the comments? I want to hear your options, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out. Take care.